Everybody. Uh, I'll tell you what. I just got home from work, walked in the door and seen a package on the on the table there, and I thought, well, I wonder what that is. And then I opened it up, and I knew what it was. Guy sent me a lighter that he bought for his girlfriend. Okay, he wanted me to repair it, and I looked at it and I thought, well, that's probably a plastic tank lighter. I said I can't guarantee anything, but I'll do what I can. So here's the lighter. Actually, a very, very good condition lighter. Very pretty lighter, really. And not a bad quality lighter, except for the tank. Okay. Now, I got, all I had to do is take one screw out of the bottom here and push it out. And I can tell already, let me focus here, it's unrepairable. See that crack right there? There's no way to fix that, everybody. There's just no way to fix that. I got a guy that's sending in 3 more lighters. And one of them I've tried to work on before. A guy sent me one just like the one the guy's sending me here. And I told him I had to send it back because, it had a cracked tank. Well, listen, guys, that's why I don't recommend. Just don't go out there and buy these lighters if you don't know what they are. I mean, this one here, I think it's made in Korea. Now, this is made in Korea. Now, listen, there are some lighters made in Korea that got metal tanks. But when you start getting toward this newer stuff, let's put it this way, not newer, but maybe the 90s. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. But this has got a quality piezo in it. Unfortunately, the only thing it's good for is, it's probably not even good for parts because I've taken lighters like this apart and put parts away, and what's to say I'm going to come across another lighter like this? And if I do, it's probably going to have the same problem because, like, this one's new. This lighter's new. It doesn't have any use on it, but you can see it's got a cracked tank right there. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help the gentleman out, He bought it for his girlfriend, So, I don't know. I got some lighters up here. I don't know if there's anything there be nice for his girlfriend. I told him, I said, well, ship it, and he's just out the shipping, but, guys, you have to be careful buying these lighters. Anything today is new. Most generally is going to have a plastic tank in it, and not even this is a kind of a plastic. A lot of them have an acrylic tank, So, if this was a metal tank, and it had a leak where it was soldered, I could just solder it up and repair it and put it back together and send it back to the guy. But unfortunately, this is what it is. The only thing this is good for is parts, and and even then, how long is it going to take me, to tell somebody I find something here? I don't know, guys. It's just, unfortunately, it is what it is. I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but there isn't anything I can do about that. That's why I really don't, you guys have been with me for a while. No, I just don't like to work on plastic tank lighters. Well, now you know the reason. Because most of the time, if they ain't cracked, oops, wrong way. If they're not cracked, they could be cracked by the time you get them, get the valves and stuff out of them. Nice looking little lighter too. Guys, some of you guys, I don't know, you guys are out there spending $50, $75, maybe even $100, and you're getting a freaking lighter that's got a plastic tank in it. Listen for a second here, guys. I want to say this. If you see a lighter that you like, okay, and on the internet, and you're not for sure, send me a picture of it. I can probably give you a good idea whether it's going to be a tank, a lighter with a acrylic tank or a plastic tank in it. Unfortunately, you can tell this lighter hadn't had any use. Look at it. But that's why it hadn't had any use. Come with a cracked tank. So, you get something, even this is not a nice looking lighter. And this is not even a nice looking lighter, but it's okay. And I even had to do some filing on this right here and right here to get this lid to come down a little bit. It's still not coming down, but it's coming down okay. But just to get it to come down, but this has a metal tank in it. All these lighters right here got metal tanks. This don't even have a tank in it. The whole body right on the outside is the tank. And if I was going to buy a lighter, like a torch lighter or something, you want something that's got a thick tank. This is made, this is going to last because it's made thicker because you're holding on to it with your warm hands while you're putting cold liquid butane in it. The only problem about this is that filler valve, once it gives way, this whole lighter's junk. So, I ain't a big fan of torch lighters anyway, but they're really finicky. You guys got torch lighters at home, all right? And you just can't, you buy them and next thing you know, they don't, you just can't get them to work, okay? You want to get something and bleed it. Bleed the air out of it. See that? See that butane in there? Say, well, what's that do? Well, gets the air out. And then you could top it. Then you could top it off. Look at that. It's all the way up. Now, I've done a little test in my past videos where I took a clear tank. It was a little small butane tank, that you can carry with you to refill your lighters. Well, I did a little video on that, how to bleed your lighter. All right, you need to watch that video because what happens after a while, this thing gets empty or maybe you top it off, and you're thinking like, you know what, my lighter's, it's not lasting as long as it used to. Well, because you get a lot of air in here and you can fill this lighter up, and sometimes it'll only come up halfway. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So, and so you purge it, just like I showed you there. If you want to purge the butane out, hold it like this because the liquid's on the bottom. Hold it like this, the air's on the top. So if you want the air out. But another thing too is if you got a torch lighter and you really like it, but it's not really working great, try bleeding the tank. A lot of times that'll just solve the problem for you. I had one guy says, man, he was tossing these lighters off the side and buying other ones, you know, these torch lighters, and he went back after he seen my video and he bled the tank on them. He said, man, they all started working. He said, man, he was happy camper, you know. But it is what it is there. Now, I buy one of these if you, this is, you know, 4-burner. This, if you need something, if you're out in an area that's really, really wet, this thing will put out some heat and it won't last long. I think it's got a total burn time. I didn't hold it on for 30 seconds, but I think it's about a 30-second burn time on this. But anyway, this actually has a little tank on the inside of it too. I don't know how I took this apart. Well, I'm sure it's from here. I'm trying to look through camera and, man, it's got a little Phillips screw right down in there. You know, I bought one before and I thought this was the same, but this is a cheaper version of the one I used to have. I should have kept it, but you know what I did? I give them all away, people. Thought, well, you know, no problem. You know, I can get some more of them. Well, ordered one and thought, you know, thought I'll just get another one because the ones I had, they were colored. You could see inside them, you could see the butane. But when I got this, and I thought, well, I'll order black. But when I got it, look at it. Break into this tank. You know. Now, this could be a heavy-duty tank. It might last a while, but listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something. These type of lighters, these are throwaway lighters, okay? I don't know about you, but you go out and you spend $50 on a lighter. It's got a plastic tank in it. I don't know about guys, but I don't like throwing $50 away. And if I'm guessing right, I really doubt that you guys do either. That's why I try to kind of get on here and tell you guys a little something. That way you're not disappointed. I mean, don't worry. Listen, I've done the same thing. I have. I bought lighters that, you know, I regretted buying too, because, you know, when I first started out, I didn't know any more than anybody else. So, anyway, so you know, you gotta be careful. Let me show you some other stuff here that I got that are nice lighters, but you know, it's just, I got a guy that's sending me one of these. You know, he says he's got a leak in it. And I told him, I said, well, I said, you can send it because I got a couple of these lighters, because these ain't pretty, folks. These been run through the mill. But these are plastic tanks. But I've never ever had a crack in one of these. To me, for plastic, if I plastic tank lighter, I've never seen one of these, You know, they're labeled Colibri or they're labeled Firebird or whatever. But I've never seen one with a cracked tank. Okay, so, but you know how things go. They just cheapen it so they can make it cheaper. And, you know, once it goes out the door into your pocket, they don't care. They got your money. So be careful what you spend your money on. You know, nowadays people work hard for the money. You know, just to throw it away on a piece of junk. So anyway, if he's got a cracked tank, I got a tank. I charge $15 for the tank, you know, and never ever had to, like I said, replace the tank, but never seen one that's cracked. So we'll see what happens there. And this lighter here, I got this lighter in a lighter lot. This is an old Safa lighter. Came out of Safa lighters were made in Italy at the time. This is a quality lighter, folks. I thought, well, you know what you had to do is like that and pew, fill it up. Plastic tank. All right. Well, if I unscrew that little screw there, it'll allow me to pull that out. And you'll see a crack up here. Cracked tank. Now, I kept it because this is like new and it's got a brand new, you know what, let me just pull it out so I can show you. I mean, I can keep stuff for parts. I mean, I already got it, so. Let me get a little wrench here. And a little base screw. There it is. And this has got a good mechanism in it, but see, that crack right here. See, I tried to repair it, but nothing would hold. So this is an excellent Pizio. Excellent quality Pizio there. I might have to just take that apart, take that Pizio out of there and put them with the rest of them. See, the mechanism in there is good. Let me take this Pizio out of here. You know, I've had guys that said he had a bad Pizio, his lighter wouldn't ignite, and he sent it to me, and man, I got lucky, man. I had one out of all them Pizios I've had, I had one that actually worked in the lighter, so he got lucky. Yeah, this is a real good Pizio here. Oh boy. Yeah. Let's see if there's a name on that. Yeah, there is, but don't ask me what it says. Anyway, somebody needs it, I'll sell that, of course, you know. Sell the body to somebody that's got a bad body or in the valve system. Take the valve system out. I'll go ahead and put everything back in here, but just for parts, I'll show you what I got here. I'll put some of these things in different, I don't like scratch them up, you know, I'll put these in different bags and because they'll scratch up fairly easy. All this other stuff, it doesn't matter, let's put it together. Yeah, that's an excellent Peugeot there. I do need to put this little screw back in here. Holy moly. Yeah, that's anyway, I want to show you, I got a bag of other parts too. You know, I got guys out there that repair lighters that get a hold of me. It's pretty good guys. And I share my parts with them. They share stuff with me. You know, which, you know, listen, guys. I ain't out here to corner the market or anything like that. I'm just out here to provide a service to people that don't have any other place to go, because a lot of these companies, this company here, you know, they're gone. You know, they're gone, and a lot of these lighter repair companies that repair lighters for like IM Corona and stuff like that, they don't work on these type of lighters. If they do, it's because you're special, I guess. They might work on some, but I'll tell you what. I had a guy on eBay selling some. He was selling some Safa 21 lighters. He said they'd been serviced. I emailed the guy back. I said, told him that company, showed it, you know, I said, that company don't service them. I said, I thought the guy was lying, you know, but turned out the guy I knew, you know, and he's an honest guy, and he sent me a bunch of lighters to repair. But, you know, he even showed me the invoice. And he paid $125 a pop for each one of them, too. So there's nothing, you know, there isn't anything cheap, you know, about repair. I mean, good Lord, I tried to source some, I'm trying to source some more O-rings out of China, because you get on AliExpress, where I found them before. Every time you want to order something, each one of them, like if you got one company that orders different sizes, you know, shoot, they charge you shipping on each one of them. Man, you can pay $100 for shipping. So I thought, I'm getting kind of tired of that. So I got a hold of a company out of China, sourced some O-rings, and you know, they had a few in stock. They didn't have everything I needed, but the ones I had needed, I told them, I said, well, I'll take 200 of each. So they gave me a quote. The ones they had in stock, and they put down there 200, and they said, well, that's $14 or whatever it was. But the other ones they didn't have in stock, the size I want, they gave me a quote for, it was like almost $200 for, to set up to make them. And you had to buy a minimum of 6,000, so each one of them was like $500 something. You know, I could have run I could have ran $3, $4, $5,000, on special order O-rings, and I messaged them back. I said, hey, just let me know what you got in stock. I'll just buy what you got in stock. And they was just pennies, like something like 6 cents each. You say, well, what's the difference in AliExpress? Well, the difference is I can order all these different sizes and just get one shipping charge. So, there ain't no sense of, it's getting harder, with these new tariff laws, China ain't a problem. China just, I got a bunch of, I got a guy over in, I got about 15 or 18 of these waiting on me overseas, but from Italy. But the gentleman he says he went the shipping, they can't guarantee it because of the tariffs, I said, well, I ordered stuff from China, no problem. He said, well, the China thing. He wrote it down and it was understandable. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's a pretty sharp young man. And him and his father, he speaks English pretty well. His father doesn't, but, they sell me, they buy stuff for me. Like if I see something over there and it doesn't ship to the United States, they'll buy it for me and hold on to it. And I'll send them money and whatnot. I even sent when I first got to know them. I don't know how I come across them. I'm not giving you their names either, so that's one name I'll never give up. But anyway, I know you guys might see on my past videos. I got them tall Savinellis. There's a black lacquer and a gold one in there. Well, I found that on an Italian site, and he called the guy, and because it wasn't very far away, he called the guy and said, yeah, he still got it, He said he's about 85 years old. He can get out. He can't ship it or anything. He's, pretty well stays at home, but yeah, he still got it. And I think he wanted like $35 for it. $35, $40 for it. So the guy offered to go get it. He says, you just pay the train fare. And I think the train fare was like $20, $25. And so I gave him an extra $50 for it or to do it, So he got to enjoy a little train ride, went over and talked to the gentleman. And he said his wife bought him for him. I got the little letter they wrote and described, the history of it. So I still got that in my email. But I ended up selling all of them to a friend of mine who's an I.M. Corona collector because I used to have them laying around. And, they're nice lighters. But, guys, I'm not a collector, all right? The one I'm speaking of is just like this, except they're taller, These Savinelli lighters are actually made, if you don't know, these lighters are made by I.M. Corona. All right. It says Savinelli. I don't know who's at the door, but I'm not going to answer it. Anyway, it just says Savinelli right there, right? You see this right up above here? That's an I.M. for I.M. Corona. That's who manufacture these lighters, but they just put Savinelli on it, because Savinelli in Italy, Savinelli pipe lighters, or, Savinelli smoking products, whatever they got. And these, up to this day, these are quality lighters. These got a metal tank in them, Here, let me show you something. See how this here's a little pipe tamper, right? Well, you pull it out and you rotate it 180 degrees and it locks, so you can tamp down tobacco in your bowl. Well, I remember when I first started working on these, I couldn't figure out how to get this bottom off. Don't work on, you guys out there, you never worked on lighters and you buy one of these thinking you're going to work on it, and I just about say you ought to just send it to somebody. You don't have to send it to me. Just send it to somebody that knows how to work on them, because these are they got to know a little something on these. And it took me a while to actually to figure it out. You know, some of this stuff out too. So anyway, yeah, just send it to somebody. Okay. Now what you got to do to, well, let me take this off. Let me put this back down here for a second. Yeah, let me show the quality on these. Okay, once you get that screw out, so you think, well, man, that thing's not coming out, Well, the reason is right here, there's a little locking mechanism on here. There's a little plate in there. See it? Boom. See right here? And it locks in the side right here in this little groove. Sometimes them are hard to get open too because they've been in there for so long. Yeah, I marked this lighter. I got an L2018 on it. These are some of the best quality lighters. And these are old. I don't know how old this lighter is. I'm guessing 90s. Could be the 80s. These Piezo's are some of the best Piezo's you can get. I got a lighter one time they had to send in to ARS Lighter Repair out of Henderson, North Carolina, just because this here little leverage for your gas valve here, one of these was broken off. And I just had to send it in and get it repaired so I can get a part. Come back $75 later, just for a part. So what I did is I had several of these. I had one of them that had a bad piezo. So I stuck the piezo, the bad piezo, in the lighter with the bad lever so I can get them all replaced at the same time without having to send one in and get a double charge. But I had one of these one time that okay, let me see if I can show you here. All right, I had one of these one time that wasn't holding gas, and it had a leak. I think it was down in this, like around this right here. I had a leak in there. I put some alcohol down there and you just see a little bitty bubble. So, I just had to solder it up, to seal it. There's tricks to soldering these tanks too. You just, you really don't want to use no soldering iron. But anyway, see this, this, something happens to this gets a leak in it, you just solder it back up. I don't care if it has a little pinhole just in the metal itself. You can just sand it down, put a little bit of cleaner on there, and just put a dab of solder on there, and it's good. You can't do that with these newer lighters with these plastic tanks, You get a crack in them, you're done. So, anyway, I worked on one of these, first time I worked on one of these. I think I got maybe a little leak still, I don't know. It might not be, the stopper might not be stopping. You can see when I struck it up that got a little flame out of the cap where gas was obviously leaking. But no, I'll take this back apart, work on it. These are some of the easiest lighters to work on right here. These Throme lighters, they are freaking easy. I mean, easy peasy. Real simple. Heck, all you have, no, just let me show you. I mean, I might as well do a little something while I got everybody on here. I don't know how many people's on here. I don't think very many, but anyway, you say, well, how do you take one of these apart? Well, the only thing you need to do, well, where's mine? There it is. This is a flint chamber right here, okay? Just take this off. Get your flint out of there. See that little screw's got, I think this is, no, it's not that. It's not the right one. I think it might be a 6. Yeah. And just unscrew that. Like a little nut. Yeah. Once you do that, look at there. That top comes off. And you're right down here to the tank. You can just unscrew that. And, you know, the valve system, everything's down in there. Just clean it out, replace the sponge and all that. And you're good to go. That's the only lighter I use. I keep, it's the only one. If I have all the lighters I got, if I got to pick one, this is it. I don't, you know, so you guys don't, you know, another thing is too, lighter fluid. Don't buy lighter fluid at the store like that Zippo lighter fluid. When you figure it out, you're paying $120 a gallon, close to it. All you gotta do is go to the store, like a hardware store, and get you a 1 gallon can of naphtha, NAPTHA. When you crack that lid on there and you smell it, first thing you're gonna say is lighter fluid. Naphtha. And it's like 20 to maybe 21, 22, 23. It could be $25 for a gallon. You know, and a gallon goes a long way. That's what I use in this. All right. Anyway, that's how easy these are to work on. Now, I believe on this one too, I think I had kind of a stuck flint in it or something. If you've got a stuck flint, the only problem on these is there's no screw, you know, where you can unscrew it and take out this wheel and get in there and get your little steel rod and hit down on it and knock it out. So I had to come in from this side and with like a drill bit and kind of like do it by hand and get it out, get most of it out, and then take some little bitty rods that I carry, like these little steel rods here, you know, and shove down in there to clean out the tube. Anyway, these are pretty simple to work on too. Just remember to place that rubber. And the rubber, if you don't have any, the original rubber, just take it out and flip it over and see what the other side looks like. But where I kind of had I think I got kind of a problem on this is I put a double sponge in there because it had a real thick type of sponge. And let me show you the valve system on this. The valve system is really simple. See, that's a 5, and that's a 6. Let me try a 7 on this. No. 6.5. It's not going to fit on there like it should, but just help you to get that out of there. All right. You see this? This is it. All you gotta do is just get your little tar wire or something, cut it and run it through there and unplug that. Get your O-ring size on there, which you can measure. And you can see here that this is the wick assembly. And I used 2 I used 2 sponges together. I think I gotta do something different with that. You see this? This goes on top of the sponge, you see. This has got to go on top of the sponge, this little washer right here. Because if you don't, see, the sponge got a hole in it, you're not going to be able to shut the gas off because the gas goes through this hole right here now top. So what this does, puts pressure on the sponge. When you get that little knurled nut right there, and you start turning this down, puts pressure on that brass washer and squeezes that sponge down, doesn't allow any gas to come through. So you gotta have that little brass washer there. There's no hole or nothing in it. Because both these sponges got holes in them. I always use these sponges with holes in them because they don't plug up like the solid ones do. Solid ones, you get some cheap butane after a while, these sponges will plug up, and no matter how you try to adjust your flame adjustment, you know, loosen it, try to get a higher flame, well, you can't get a higher flame because the sponge is plugged up. But if you got that little hole there, you can unloosen that. You're going to get, if you can't get any butane through the sponge, you'll get some coming out that hole. And of course, you know, by screwing this down, it'll limit how much comes out that hole or out the side of that sponge. That's why I use these, because your lighter's going to last longer than just with a regular sponge, because you can't use dirty butane. I mean, you can, but you know, if you're servicing your own lighter, use all the crap junk butane you want. But if you got a nice lighter and you paid, you know, $75 for somebody to work on it, you know, just get you some Zycar butane. I think from what I've gathered, Zycar is probably about the best you can get. It's the only one I know that you can get that you can actually use on a torch lighter and use it at high altitude. Because if you take one of these torch lighters up to high altitude with this regular butane, I believe it's not going to, if I'm correct, it won't light. But if you put some of that high altitude, you know, Zycar butane in it, it will light. So it's a premium butane. Just keep that in mind. I don't know what the difference is. I really don't. But there is a difference. That's the wick. That just soaks up the liquid butane, comes up here, comes out as a gas. Got the sponges laying on this. Okay, I put 2 sponges in there because I need to adjust the height of this valve, so it could, so the stopper and the lid would hit it. So I still need to do some work on it. I'm not quite done, so here I got a mess here. 2 lighters put back together, and I won't even do it tonight because I'm tired. I've got a gentleman sent me some Cartier lighter tanks to repair on. I got this labeled as 1 because he sent me a batch of them. I can't remember, 15, 17 of them in here, something like that, to work on, plus a couple lighters. And I'm labeling each one of them. I've actually had this, this has been sitting around since last Saturday or Sunday. I filled it up. Let's see, I filled it up, it weighed like 16.9 grams, I believe. Yeah, that's what it weighed. At least that's what it says over there on paper. 16.9. So it's been sitting there 5 or 6 days, filled up. So let's take it out here and put it on here and see what we got. 16.9. Hasn't lost anything. So that's been sitting almost a week, so we're good there. I used that because I was kind of getting my O-rings kind of lined up here, what I'm going to need to do the job, because I want to go through some of these and start getting them done. I haven't started on them. I had 5 days off last week for Christmas vacation, like, what was it, Wednesday through Monday, or let's see, Wednesday through Monday, but I didn't do anything because I had to order some I got some little stainless steel parts that's coming in for them Cartier lighters, because there's little rollers in there, and I went 1 lighter apart to check it out, and somebody had a part and a roller dropped out of there. I don't know how it did it, but somebody had a part and they didn't know it, but a roller fell out, so I had to order some from China. And I ordered them, and now that guy, I'll go back on his website. You can't get on there on the eBay, and he's not there no more. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe some of these guys are China are having a hard time with these tariff things, and kind of like just getting some of them closed down. I mean, thousands of parts. You got to have some specific tools if you're going to be working on them Cartier gas tanks too. You got to have this. I mean, I seen one guy working on them, he was kind of, I don't know, why not buy some tools? This here takes your filler valve out, and this in here. This tool here, this is a handy tool. You see what happens here? See how this screws up and down? What's going on here? You screw your valve in there. Them valves are on them Cartiers. I'll go through them, but they're a different valve. You got to have a tool like this to work on them. And they take the O-ring it's got to be a certain O-ring too. I think I ordered some O-rings from O-Rings and More, and I got a set of 10 coming from China. I see they're in New York right now. Some of these stuff I ordered, those little stainless steel bushings, are in New York, along with some seals and stuff. So that's kind of like what I'm waiting on. Because once I get started on these, I just like to kind of go through them and get done what I can during the day. And put gas in them, let them set for a week. You know, other things said here. Uh, you know, I don't want to send stuff out. And I had one guy, I don't want to send stuff out and let it, you know, it's got a leak. I had one guy send it back. He sent me a lighter back here a while back. Can't remember what it was for. Was it a leak? I think it was a leak. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if all the lighters that's been returned to me in the last 5 years that I serviced on and had to go back through them. I don't know if I have enough of them to go past one hand or no more than two hands. So no more than 5 to 10 lighters, because I usually let my lighters sit around for several days, you know, like that tank there. I let my lighter sit around several days, and this thing weighs 1/10 of a gram. So if you got even a micro leak, I mean a small leak that you have to have magnification and everything to see, it'll show up after a day. I mean, it'll show up after a day easy, you know, because everything's under pressure. So anyway, that's all I got for this time. Kind of rearranged my desk here a little bit, got some stuff off of it, and kind of put everything here. I can just reach in and grab it and put it on my desk there. But anyway, that's it, guys. So, and I haven't been. I got videos on my camera up here. All right, I got videos on there, but I got a Windows 10 computer that I had to reformat, and now it's you know, there's no updates on it, so it's a headache. So I'm gonna go out and buy a laptop or something, but right now I don't want to spend $800 to $1,000 on something, because I thought I was just going to go ahead and get a tower or something, because these laptops, I don't know how many hard drives I got. I probably got 4 or 5 hard drives, so that's how many laptops I've had. And you know, they just don't last. If something goes wrong, you just can't get a part for it. You know, it's easier to buy a part for a tower. My boy, he knows a little bit about it, so he's trying to set me up with something. But right now, they're expensive, you know. One, he said that's probably good. It's probably $1,000 to $1,500, but he said you ought to get a gaming PC. It says that way if you get 4K videos you upload, and he says they'll upload pretty quick. You know, you got to have a good computer. So anyway, I need to get one. Right now, I'm just kind of putting it off. Get maybe some. I got some lighters coming in. I don't know how many, but I got some coming in. I'm going to be repairing on, and some guys, you know, I've had several guys take advantage of my, you know, my $60 repair for the, you know, holidays, you know. So I might extend it a month if somebody's out there. And I know how it is, guys. Listen. You know, you got a lighter, you want to get worked on, but you only have an extra $60 to drop. I understand it completely. I really do. I mean, you know, and I'm not much worried about it. You know, I've a lot of my customers, a lot of guys that, you know, send me stuff. They're really happy, and you know, we have a mutual trust with one another. You know, and I hate to send anything back non-working. But I'm to the point now. Yeah, there's something else I want to tell you about this later here. This valve isn't the original filler valve, but I got lucky and found another valve, and I only had one that worked, and the filler cap the original filler cap screwed in. I'm gonna tell you something. I was taking this lighter here, the original valve out, you know, so I could work on it and rebuild it. And I thought I had that here somewhere close by. Maybe I put it up. But anyway, I tell you, I couldn't get it out with my tool. And I put my torch on here, and I actually held this with rubber and with this here. And I put my torch on here and just heated this all around and heated this valve. And I still couldn't get that valve out. You know what I had to do to get that original valve out? I had to drill a hole in there. Then I end up hammering this screwdriver down in there and put my pliers on here and turn that out. I had to ruin the valve to get it out. I've never ever had a valve in there like that. But this was my lighter, so I did it. I have burgered up a lighter or two from a gentleman sent me. I burgered up the valve. I wish I wouldn't have done it, trying to get it out. I should have put heat on, see, but that was a nice silver plated lighter, and I didn't know about putting heat on these lighters, but you can put heat on these plated lighters and everything too. You just don't want to get it real hot. Maybe a couple 100 degrees or 150 degrees, because I don't know what it is about some of these lighter companies, but they must put freaking Loctite on these, you know, and there was no way I was going to get that out. And I was just lucky I had one valve out of all the valves I had laying around here. I found one. I thought, well, that's good. And I got lucky, well, like I said, that the original cap to that valve for this fit on here too. So, man, you get one of these guys, listen, whew, I don't know what to tell you. The only thing I can tell you is take everything out like I got it. And if you don't have a torch, crank your freaking oven up to maybe about 200 degrees or something. Crank your oven up about 200 degrees and leave this thing in there for 20 minutes or so. And pull it out and see if you can't get it out. Because this brass is easy to break, you know, so you gotta be careful. And if you do heat it up and it don't come out, then you might have to destroy it to get it out. And I recommend you don't destroy it if you don't have any other valves laying around. So maybe you might get lucky and it'll, you know, if it seals, can't get it out and it still seals, just leave it alone. All right, that's all we got to say.